Hello, everybody. We are back again. Today, we'll be discussing the NBA playoffs, the NBA draft lottery, NFL schedule release, a little bit of NFL news, some college football news, and a little nugget about the MLB. Let's get it started. Excuse me. On Monday, the NBA draft lottery was announced, and with a 1.8% chance of winning, the Dallas Mavericks ended up winning. From trading Luka to now getting the assumed number one pick, Cooper Flagg, the Dallas Mavericks have gone through a lot from the front office and the fan base. Will this win back fans? I don't know, but we shall see how that goes. In the third straight year since the NBA changed up the odds to doing flat odds in 2019, the team with the worst record has not gotten the number one overall pick. It's very interesting how it's turned out to be. The first five picks are the Dallas Mavericks at number 1, the San Antonio Spurs at number 2, the Philadelphia 76ers at number 3, the Charlotte Hornets at 4, and the Utah Jazz at number 5. This is a very heartbreaking result for the teams that are a lot worse, like the Hornets, the Jazz, the Pelicans, the Nets of the world, and the Wizards especially. We'll see if the odds change. It shows that tanking is not the way to go, even though it's always been the case, despite what the Sixers did with the whole process era. And we'll see how it is. Some people on ESPN, I think it was Mike Greenberg and maybe somebody else, or maybe it was just Mike Greenberg, had pitched the idea of the NFL trying to do a draft lottery, which is a terrible idea in my opinion, because NFL teams don't really try to tank. Some teams are just that bad, where if you imagine if like a team that already has their franchise quarterback then has Cam Ward, it would just be a mess of an idea. I mean, because if you go through before the Browns made the trade, it's the Titans, the Browns, and the Giants. Titans had no quarterback, no offensive line. Browns, no quarterback, no offensive line. Giants, no quarterback. And the Patriots, who would have been at third overall, ended up being fourth. Lost it because Joe Milton in week 17 beat the Bills out of nowhere. And it shows that teams just don't tank in the NFL. And it would be a very bad idea. Some other reactions of the lottery for the people that believe the lottery's rigged won. They gave them more fuel to the fire. But it was a lot closer than you think. Back in the end of the regular season, the Bulls and Mavericks did a coin flip. The Mavs won the coin flip, and that gave them the little 0.1% edge over the Bulls. And had that been different, had the Bulls won it, then the Bulls would have had Cooper Flagg. And with the ping pong balls, the last number that on the winning lottery number, last number was a 7. The Portland Trailblazers had a 6. So for the Blazers and Bulls fan bases, that you can tell, that's just how heartbreaking of how close it is to just completely changing a franchise. And then days after, the Blazers were put up for sale by the Allen family. No, Phil Knight will not be buying it, probably, most likely, despite many Blazers fans wanting it to happen. Other reactions to it, the Mavs have strongly expressed that they are not trading the number one pick. Seems like they've learned from their mistake of, at least what I believe is a mistake, of trading their superstar franchise cornerstone, Luka to the Los Angeles Lakers. The Spurs is a team that is talked about, but I'm going to talk about it some more. Are now in prime position to land Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo. There are rumors that he's expressed a desire to play in states with no income tax. For rumors of Miami, heard the Rockets is also a team, and obviously Spurs because it's in Texas. This is a perfect opportunity for the Bucks to get a second overall pick, which will most likely be, I believe, Dylan Harper or maybe Ace Bailey. I forgot. I'm not in NBA draft mode right now. The Bucks are in a very awkward spot where they've traded away pieces that help them win. They don't really have very promising young talent. Giannis is co-running mate just tore his Achilles, and Damian Lillard, and Lillard will be back in his mid-30s, approaching 40. It's a very awkward situation where I feel like Giannis would want to stay, but he does want to win, and it seems like Milwaukee's in this really tough spot of just stuck in the middle, not close enough to be bad, but also not close enough to being good or competitive, with the top teams in the East being probably the Knicks, Celtics, Pacers, and Cavs. Speaking of the Cavs, yes, the Pacers have put the Cleveland Cavaliers away in 5. Tyrese Halliburton playing sensational as always. The Cavs, despite being showing some success first in this era of success post LeBron leaving for the second time, were the number 1 seed, had a great record, had a great regular season, did have injuries to Darius Garland and didn't pan out. Will changes be made? Most likely. Sorry, a lot of burps happening right now. But the conversation will have to be held with one Donovan Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell has still not made a conference finals yet, and it's now a very it's a bad look seeing that his co-running mate Rudy Gobert has now made a conference finals after the Minnesota Timberwolves have defeated the Golden State Warriors in 5 games, which we'll get to in a moment. Now, is Gobert was the number 1? No, he was the number 2 in Utah once Mitchell got there, but something may have to change with Cleveland in order for them to finally get over the hump. Otherwise, the spotlight on Donovan Mitchell-led team's shortcomings will be brighter than it has been before, if that's the case next year. For the Pacers, once again, they have made the conference finals in the second straight year. Whoever I called Tyrese Halliburton overrated, is the players in the player surveys are looking rather foolish right now. And my other note I want to put in is for Puma. If you watch this at all, if this ever gets to someone that works for Puma, please, oh please, oh please, get some creative marketing for Tyrese Halliburton. It is laid out perfectly right now. Because I've seen nothing out of them. I've seen stuff from Under Armour, Jumpman, Nike, Adidas, all over the place, everywhere. I've seen nothing from Puma, and Tyrese Halliburton is giving you guys a beautiful opportunity. The whole overrate that comment he made, the celebrations he had after that come from behind game winner after the intentional missed free throw. Wow, I can't talk. It's all right there, and I really hope, unless it's just if the Pacers win the championship or make the championship, they got something set up coming for them. And obviously, you can't do stuff in the middle of the playoffs, like how Adidas seems to. You can. Adidas seems to do it with Anthony Edwards, but then Anthony Edwards is so marketable, and his playstyle is similar to Halliburton. It's flashy, it's fun, enjoyable to the viewer. But I hope Puma steps up their game because I don't know. I just believe they're blowing an opportunity. To move on, as I have mentioned, the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Golden State Warriors, the series has ended at 5 games. Jimmy Butler did have a strong performance in Game 3, putting up 33 points. Wasn't enough to stop Anthony Edwards. The Golden State Warriors could not hold them off before Steph Curry could possibly return. It's unfortunate for the Warriors. Some would say that they're happy that they got that far. They did beat a 2-seed Rockets, but the Rockets were not the favorite in that series. So we'll see how that goes in the future. But in Steph Curry's absence, Jonathan Kuminga, if you remember that name, played great in games 2 through 5, dropping 18, 30, 23, and 26. Most likely he won't be back in Golden State, or he might not want to be back in Golden State because of the way how he might not be getting minutes in that system. But I believe he's earned himself a couple extra dollars, though, for another team that may want him or believes that they can truly unlock him or put him in the right spot to be successful. And probably could get him for a bargain because he probably can't get some $100 million contract. But I believe he's earned himself maybe, who knows? We'll see. We'll see how he gets valued in free agency if he does end up being moved. Jimmy Butler did fight through injury, which isn't. I mean, you can make an excuse, is an excuse, whoever you talk to. He played through the injury he suffered against Houston, where it was like he hurt his butt or something because he fell in a really awkward way. It showed really in the elimination games he was not really able to be that aggressive takeover playoff Miami Jimmy that we are so accustomed to seeing, and that hurt them. The Warriors really had to be perfect overall. Like they needed high production out of Podziemski, Kuminga, Butler, and even Draymond Green, and that just didn't happen enough. And they all didn't come together strong enough to overpower Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves once again returned to the conference finals, which awaiting the winner of today's matchup, or will end to be tomorrow, depending on when this gets posted, of the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets tonight. The Nuggets and Thunder are playing with the Thunder up 3-2. The Thunder still have yet to be back in the conference finals in a very, very long time. I think in the Westbrook, Kevin Durant era was the last time, which we will see if they come back. The Thunder, the crowd was exceptional. The Nuggets were still almost pulled it off until the very end. Almost came back with an insane Nikola Jokic somber shuffle 3, I believe it's what it's called. If you find the highlight, go check it out. It is unreal how he made that shot. But the Nuggets are currently got their backs against the wall. And do I think they can pull it off in 7? Yes. But the Thunder is not going to back down. And the Thunder want to knock over that door of finally getting to the conference finals and finally get that second round monkey off their back. And for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to get in his first conference finals. Let us move on to... Give me a sec. The New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Last we spoke, the Knicks were up, and going in Game 4, the Knicks went up 3-1. Unfortunately, the Boston Celtics lost their face of the franchise superstar Jason Tatum to an Achilles injury, one of the nastiest injuries in basketball. Based on the timing of what it is, his best chance will be probably 2 years, maybe not this year, maybe in the late 2026, possibly, when he may come back. Similar to how Kevin Durant hurt his Achilles. You never want to see star players go out. You always want to play everyone at 100%. Very sad, and a very interesting offseason is now awaits the Boston Celtics because of the second apron NBA CBA agreement. Most likely Kristaps Porzingis and or Drew Holiday will have to be moved because the Celtics probably will not be able to afford them, and they not for what they're worth, and that will be an issue. Probably Dirk White will stay. Al Horford probably will stay because I don't believe he's that expensive, at least just going off memory. And it's hard to keep up players when you have two almost, I forget Tatum's contract. Give me 1 second. Let me see if Tatum's contract is $300 million. I know Jaylen Brown's is, but yes. When you have two $300 million contracts, it's hard to sustain, and the window is closer. Now Boston will have to retool their lineup in order to be competitive for the next few years. The Knicks, though, despite losing at Boston in Game 5, are still up 3-2 with a chance to win it all in the Garden in Game 6 and an opportunity to return to the conference finals for the first time since the 90s, I believe, the Ewing era. And as they will play the Indiana Pacers with a chance to go to the NBA Finals, which right now the remaining teams, beautiful stories. There's opportunity for Anthony Edwards, Tyrese Halliburton, Jalen Brunson, Russell Westbrook out of the Nuggets, or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to finally get their first championship. We love to see that, especially the NBA is maybe it's just the fact of physicality and just maybe it's all the comebacks, but the NBA playoffs have been must watch this season, and credit to them because the NBA went through a lot of criticism of what's wrong with the league. Why don't people not care? Why do people not watch? Numbers might not show it, and numbers aren't everything. But I would say I now, whereas before, like during some games, I would like kind of like not as much care if I'd missed the game. Now I'm like bummed that I didn't miss a playoff game. I try to catch every single one now. That's how entertaining every single series has been. Even the blowout was that one Memphis game against OKC. They almost won. They were up like 20, but they didn't pull it off. And that is how that is. Moving on, we have some MLB news. The Colorado Rockies fired their manager as the Rockies are on pace to be the worst team in MLB, currently sitting at 7-34. It's like an evolution. There was one point it was the Oakland A's 2 years ago. It's the worst team in the MLB. Last year was Chicago White Sox as the worst team in the MLB. Now it's like the final form is the Colorado Rockies. I'm very confused what has gone wrong so bad that the fact that this is where the Rockies are. And I hope their new manager gets them to gets them in at least better than 734. We shall see how that goes. Over this past Monday, the New York Liberty had a preseason game at Matthew Knight Arena in a sold-out crowd. Sabrina Ionescu and Nyara Sabali returned to Matthew Knight after fulfilling their careers on that court after being ripped away from the opportunity to finish their senior seasons due to the COVID pandemic. Very entertaining crowd. Very fun team to watch, and keep an eye out for Liberty as they look to become back-to-back WNBA champions. In college football, 5-star offensive lineman Jackson Cantwell, committed to the University of Miami, had options between Oregon, Georgia, and Ohio State. Rumors came over that Miami had offered around $2 million. Cantwell denied that money was the reason why he committed there. He noted that it was the staff that head coach Mario Cristobal had, which is the same staff that did develop NFL star Penei Sewell, stud offensive lineman for the Detroit Lions. Wishing him best of luck, and we will move on from there. Shifting on from the Lions, the NFL schedule dropped on Wednesday, May 14th. And in this new era, there's these schedule release videos, which is for those that were not as familiar with it or wondering why these exist, it's a fun thing to do to get excited for the schedule, especially during the dog days of the NFL offseason, which is the period we are in now. It's that period after the draft, but before training camp, and also after free agency. And it's a good way to keep the NFL entertainment and news loop, kind of keep it year-round cycle, because obviously the fall and January, February they have, and March is free agency for them. It's a good little midway point to keep fans engaged. If you are interested in watching some of the schedule release videos, I highly suggest you watch the Seattle Seahawks, the Los Angeles Chargers, the Tennessee Titans, the Las Vegas Raiders, and the Los Angeles Rams. Time can be really dull right now, so if you really need a reason to just care about the NFL, or you don't really care about the other sports, you just only care about NFL, give a peek at the NFL schedule release videos. They're pretty fun, and Los Angeles, if you just want one, just go through the Los Angeles Chargers. They never miss, and always super detailed. The jabs at each teams are always very fun. And yeah, that's kind of how that is. On other NFL news, and a shocking move, Derek Carr retired. New Orleans Saints quarterback Derek Carr retired at the age of 34? Yes, 34 years old. Stated that it was the injury, said he wasn't able to go through surgeries with all the injuries he's had over his career, and actually did the Saints a small financial favor while putting some of the money up front for this year, and they would have to pay a little bit less next year because he's retired no longer with the team. Wishing him best of luck, and those a lot of Saints fans were not too fond of him just based off some of his play style and whatnot. And now the Saints officially have a quarterback competition between new draftee Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, and Jay Kaner. In other news, the Baltimore Ravens have re-signed Derrick Henry to a 2-year, $30 million extension with $25 million guaranteed. The 31-year-old's $15 million per year average is now the most ever made for a running back over 30 years old. Shout out to Derrick Henry. Good for him making his money, especially with a position that was not shown as much love. It's like not too long ago, like 3 years ago, running back position got devalued so terribly as if that they were just worthless by the age of 24. So glad to see Saquon Barkley and others, but mostly him, spearheaded by him, change that narrative. Saw how when he signed with the Eagles, the first year after leaving the Giants, he went on to win a Super Bowl, and mostly to his credit. And going through, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Hope you enjoy. Like, subscribe, do what you want with this video, and yeah, bye.